Hello, basses. This is Mr. Ware with some beginning tips for your first few weeks of practicing. First, I want to start with the parts of the bass that you'll need when you are practicing throughout your year this year. The first thing that we have is the scroll. The scroll is this big top part here. These four pieces, two on each side, on a brass plate, they are called the machine tuners, or just tuning pegs. Then you have four strings and this long black board that goes all the way down your bass, underneath your strings. That's called the fingerboard. So you have some tapes and star stickers on your bass at home. The very top tape or sticker should be near your eye. So to make sure that happens, there is a pin at the bottom of your bass. So if your bass is too low, you want to lay your bass down on the floor, unscrew the end pin screw, pull out the peg enough so that it's tall, and tighten it again and raise it up. So like I said, that very tippy top star should be near your eyes. To hold the bass, your bass goes in your left hand and it faces out. So mine's facing towards the camera. Pretend you're standing on a stage and the bass is facing the audience. So the bass faces out, but you turn sideways. So you take your left leg and you put it in the back so your thigh and your knee are in back of the bass. And you take your right leg and you keep it just nice and shoulder width apart on the side. So that's how you stand with the bass. You don't want it to feel like you're holding it up with this arm. You want to feel like this is guiding the bass a little bit, but you want to feel like the bass is kind of steady on its own. So you may need to move your hips back a little bit, depending on how your size is. So to pluck the bass, you're going to take your right hand and make a backwards L. You're going to find a comfortable spot on the fingerboard right below where the shoulders of the bass are. So right here, you're going to put your thumb on the side. You're going to take your pointer finger or two fingers together, and the very closest string to you is called E. That's the lowest one. The next one is called A. Then you have D. And then your G is next. So from the bottom you have E, A, D, and G. So that's called plucking. We call it a fancy word called pizzicato in classical music, but plucking works just fine. So in your case, you have some other things. You have a bow, and either in the back of your case, at the top in a pouch, or at the bottom of the bass in the front in a pouch, you should have some rosin. So it's in a white case with wood. So the rosin is what you put on your bow to make it sticky. Now we'll talk about this in class, but you take your rosin and you just rub the rosin on the bow, on like the black part of the rosin, until you have enough rosin on your bow so that it makes sounds. You'll know because if you pull the bow across the strings, it'll make sound. If it doesn't have enough rosin, you'll hear that like wind whooshing sound, and that is just meaning that it's not broken, it just means that you need rosin. But before you start rosining, we have to tighten our bow. So to do that, when you get your bow out of the case, it might be super loose. It's really hard to see on the video, but your hair might be super loose. So what we're going to do is there's a screw. So we're going to look at the screw, and we're going to turn it to the right, righty-tighty. And you'll start to see the hair stiffen up in your bow. But here's what's important with the bow tightening. My bow, even though it's tight, bends down the stick. If it's straight or rainbowing out, it's too tight, and we want to loosen it so it's not too tight. You should be able to get a pencil between the stick and the hair. So, parts of the bow. The hair, that's the ones we're rosining. And the stick, that's this big long piece. This is the tip. And then there's this piece here. Well, the screw, which we talked about. And this piece here called the frog. And then there's a grip for your finger, just like a comfortable thing there that you'll have. So to hold a bow, between the frog and the grip, there's a piece of wood like that's not covered. We're going to take our thumb and our right hand upside down. We're going to put it inside, and then we're going to curve our fingers around with the big knuckle laying down on the grip so that it looks like that. You'll notice my fingers aren't on the tippy top of the bow. They all curve down. Almost like the first two big knuckles are on the stick. These guys are kind of in the air. And when we pull the bow across the strings, we go all the way down to the end of the fingerboard. And that's where we start. And we pull kind of like the arm of a grandfather clock, where it's steady and tick-tocking the beat. So you can hold your bass on the shoulder. And if you notice my bow going straight, it's not facing up, it's not facing down. It's pulling slow and steady with the hair flat on the bass. And if I start at the bottom, you may notice on the bottom string, the E, you may have to dig in a little bit more to get a good sound. So you'll use the muscle in those fingers to push. And then A, and then D, and then G. When you are done practicing the bass, your bass should sit on the floor like that. Don't leave your bass on a kitchen chair because it could fall. Don't lean your bass against a wall where it could fall. Just try to put it on the floor. When you're done, take your screw, turn it to the left 3 times. That'll loosen your hair and keep it nice and ready to go next time you play. When you start the bass, you tighten it 3 times. When you loosen it, when you're done. Or better said, playing the bass is tight, not playing the bass is loose. Okay, bass players, I hope this tutorial was helpful. I am excited to see you throughout the year, and I hope you have fun practicing in your first week.